During the height of railway construction in Victoria, the State Transport Authority at the time, then known as Victorian Railways, decided to build a couple of experimental rail lines to the gauge of 2 feet and 6 inches. One of these rail lines was the Crows Line. In today's video, we'll be covering the Crows Line's history, closure, accidents, rolling stock, services, where it is today, and will services resume. History. The Crows Line was located in the southwest of Victoria. While the Otway Ranges had been nicely encompassed by other lines, no rail line had gone through them. And soon, the Crows Line was built. It was built to the gauge of 2 feet and 6 inches to tackle the tough gradients and turns. It was constructed from 1900 to 1902 and was opened in March of 1902 from Colac to Beech Forest. In 1909, the second half of the line was constructed from Beech Forest to Crows, being completed and opened in 1911. At its full length, the line is 71 kilometers long, being the longest narrow gauge line in Victoria. The line also enabled the development of the Otway region, which most rail lines in Victoria did as well. As the line is narrow gauge, but its connection at Colac was broad gauge, cross-platform interchange was built for goods only. The narrow gauge and broad gauge lines left the yard in the same direction, and a balloon loop was provided at the other end of the line so trains can turn around. It was built with a staff and ticket signaling system, but the signaling system was upgraded to the train order operation from 1929 to 1939. The line saw mostly timber and firewood traffic, with several sawmills located next to the line. During the cooler months, potato and lime kiln traffic added extra trains on the line, boosting the line's revenue. The line's traffic quickly grew to have 7 trains per day during the 1920s. With the introduction of the G-Class locomotive, a Garrett-type loco, a new timetable was drawn up with 2 trains each way, and a 3rd train in between Colac and Gellibrand. However, with the G-Class's introduction, 2 of the 5 NA classes were scrapped, and soon the Great Depression hit. The Great Depression hit everywhere hard, but it hit the Crows Line especially hard. And with the introduction of motor vehicles, the line saw only 1 train every 3 days, with picnic trains also cancelled at this time. But wartime use saved the line, having 2 trains per day. However, the line was repaired with less than ideal second-hand rails and second-hand rolling stock. The line had no shortage of proposals, with several proposals to extend the line along Great Ocean Road as far down as Princetown, with land surveys being carried out at Wangerip and Colac Tree Station. With deteriorating and aging stock, VR needed to do something. They looked into dieselizing the line. But the plans were quickly shunned, and soon the line closed in sections, from Crows to Ferguson in 1954, but the section from Ferguson to Reprona reopened in January of 1955, and the line was fully closed in June of 1962, never to be reopened again. In 2005, the Crows Line was reopened from Colac to Beech Forest, and in 2015, the rail trail has been re-extended to Ferguson. Accidents. Beech Forest, 1904. In June of 1904, a small child jumped into the cab of one of the locomotives, which was then sent tumbling down the line. The child thankfully jumped out, but the train eventually derailed. All the while, the crew of the locomotive were having drinks at the local pub. rolling stock. During the peak of the line, 5 NA locomotives ran on it, but as the new G classes were built for the line, 2 NA classes were scrapped. The first G class to run on the line was G41. Then, when it was getting worn out, G42 was transferred from the Walhalla Railway. G41 was later scrapped as it was cannibalized for parts, and G42 survives today on the Gembrook line, otherwise known as Puffing Billy. All narrow gauge rolling stock were bogie vehicles, including goods wagons, but they were built using standard gauge underframes. Services. In 1905, a return mixed train ran from Colac to Beech Forest every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. In 1928, one return train ran to Beech Forest every day. However, on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, the train continued to Crowes. The timetable varied on Thursday both ways. But on Tuesday, up trains to Colac also had a varied timetable. In 1954, one return service ran every day. Where is it today? In 2003, a section of the line was looked into to be reopened as a rail trail, and in 2005, it was reopened from Colac to Beech Forest, as that section remains mostly intact, even though the line has been closed for nearly 50 years. Several shelters have been built on what were former stations, and many of the signs have been repainted or replicated. Gellibrand Railway Station still has its original building, which is the only surviving building on the line. In 2015, the rail trail was re-extended to Ferguson, which gave an excellent view of the Bass Strait. The trail is a dirt path and is maintained regularly. Most of the rolling stock used on the line has also been preserved at Puffing Billy, such as G42, which is currently undergoing overhaul, and 8A and 14A, which are currently operational. Will services resume? Services will probably not resume, as the line near Colac has been taken up. Also, the issue of not enough stock, and the price of rebuilding rails again. But the line could be reinstated as a tourist railway, and I think a tourist railway through that region could be very interesting. There would be great photo opportunities, and the line would drive tourists to the area. You could just lease a couple of locos and rolling stock from Puffing Billy, and job done. But the cost of rebuilding track may be too expensive. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked this video on the Crowes line. If you have any suggestions on what line I should do next, then leave a comment below. If not, I'll see you later.